For those who don't know, I've been keeping up with the UFO alien topic for a couple of years now, and this shit is just starting to unfold right before our very eyes. But all I'm hearing is crickets. Not enough people are talking about it, and I think that this is the most important subject in the history of ever. And let me explain why. It's no longer a myth or a legend or even science fiction that we have aircraft from unknown origin in our skies. It hit mainstream news and it is now a declassified fact. There's even this new program created by the DoD, the Department of Defense, investigating into what these things are. The problem here is that we don't know where the hell they're from, and by we I mean the general population, like you and I. It could be aliens, it could be another country, it could be a tribe of people that live in Antarctica that we've never even heard about and have adapted to colder climates and use technology. Or it could be devices from another universe, thus confirming the multiverse theory. The truth of the matter here is that these aircraft have been seen, and honestly, I think that they do want to be seen because, think about it, if you're advanced enough to travel at such high speeds and maybe even travel from other planets, wouldn't you have some kind of cloaking technology to keep you, I don't know, invisible? Anyway, the time has come. The government wants us to know. And I think they found a way to let us know without us throwing our own feces at the walls and hoarding toilet paper. But hold up. A direct disclosure from the president might break society, right? With a disclosure of these aircraft and their origin, society will want answers. Answers as to how we can duplicate that technology. Answers as to how we can change medicine. Answers to our origin and place in the universe. Answers to sustainability and agriculture. And answers to basically all the questions we've had since the beginning of mankind. It's a complete paradigm shift. It'll change our lives for the better, and in some cases, maybe for the worse. Either way, disclosure is coming, and hopefully very soon. But disclosure ain't a one-way street. In order for the government to come out and tell us the truth, we need to participate and show interest. And that includes you watching. There's this dude. His name is Tom Delonge. You might know him from his band Blink-182. You also might have seen him on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about his company and his place, his position in the UFO world. This guy, Tom, he gave a detailed account of his involvement with the government and how he convinced them to disclose the existence of flying saucers and UFOs to the public. A lot of people called him out and said he was full of shit, and even Joe Rogan himself was extremely skeptical on the show, which, I would be too, considering some of the first words on the show Tom said was,
My body is interesting. It's unique.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this dude was legit until today. Originally in late 2017, his company, To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, released those grainy ass videos some Navy fighter pilots filmed during a drill.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
Fast forward 2.5 years later, and here we are in 2020 with the New York Times article on how the Pentagon has a specific unit for UFO research, and they plan on delivering findings to the public on a periodic basis, along with the Navy themselves coming out and saying that those videos, those grainy ass videos, were indeed real. This dude, Tom, say what you will, but he delivered. He kept his word, and now I believe he himself convinced the government to tell the public what's up. Knowing that Tom is legit, I put together a couple of clips from some of his interviews that give a little backstory as to how he started talking to government officials and convincing them to come out and disclose. Check it.
So I flew around to places. I can't say who they were, and they listened to my pitch, and then I got a email out of nowhere that says meet us next to the Pentagon at this day and time, and I did that. So that started me out near DC taking some other high level meetings, and there was somebody at a very high level that closed the door, looked me in the eye, and says, "Okay, I'm going to introduce you to somebody." And that person comes to San Diego, puts me on the phone with a general, and the general is listening to my little stump speech about what I want to do with this franchise, because I definitely didn't want to, I wasn't looking to like force disclosure, and I wasn't looking to be rogue and break secrets. I was like, look, I know what's going on here, and you guys are doing a kick-ass job, and I would have done the exact same thing should I have been the guy at the top that had to make some really hardcore decisions 70 years ago. So I want to support you. I think people are cynical because there's a vacuum. You guys can't say what you're doing. So all these people are just coming up with a bunch of bullshit to say, oh, they don't want us to know, or we can't handle it, or it's all about oil and money and all this weird shit. When I pitched what I wanted to do, he said, come up and meet me tomorrow. And so I flew up to NASA, actually, NASA Ames, and had a 2-hour meeting there. And after 2 hours, that person says, he looks me in the eyes, I'm going to introduce you to someone else. And he did. And so I got on the phone with this person, and this person, go, I'm a skeptic. And then at the end of the conversation, he goes, fly out and see me. And so I did. And that's when things really started happening. So I fly out to this airport, and I sit at a table in a restaurant at the airport. No one's in there. And this gentleman sits down, and the waiter comes up. He waves off the waiter, and he looks me in the eye and says, it was the Cold War, and we found a life form.
I get a lot of credit for things that I don't do. Like, I have a bunch of government partners, and we have a bunch of people who work at the company, and we got a lot of really smart team, So every time we do something, like getting the Pentagon to finally publish the videos. And last year I got the US Navy to admit that UFOs are actually real, but these are this took 3 years, and it took members from the CIA and the Department of Defense and other agencies that we all came together, and everyone did their part, and then people kind of grabbed my name because I'm at the forefront. But really what it took to achieve this was massive.
It's easy to say, all right, he did that, case closed. End the story, let's move on with our story here on Earth. But if you're like me and know the good that will come from this, the disclosure of this technology, it'll impact every nook and cranny of this planet, probably for the better. I mean, could it get any worse than 2020? I think we need to collaboratively get together and storm Area 51. Just kidding, don't do that. I think we need to get together and maybe talk about it more. Maybe even start a petition for disclosure. Trump's been briefed on it, I'm sure he'd find the disclosure of alien life as a tremendous and important discovery that we should embrace. All we need is to continue showing interest and participating in the topic. Anyway, my name is Chris, and I hope your third eye has been decalcified from watching this, and I hope it wasn't information overload. This shit is real, and we need to wake the fuck up, because I'm super down for some space coffee.